criminal justice campus or Indianapolis Zoo? Very recently, Marion County erected a new criminal justice campus to replace the old courthouse that used to be downtown. The one downtown was known as the CCB. Now it is known as the CJC, or the Community Justice Campus. Ultimately, what Indianapolis did is it took all of their courts, juvenile, adult, and everything in between when it comes to civil and criminal, and basically merged everything into one giant building, which oftentimes can seem overwhelming or a bit stressful if you've not found it's yourself in a situation where you're constantly through the court system, which if you're watching this video, most people are not constantly in and out of the court system. Now, the CJC in Indianapolis can definitely be overwhelming if you look at it. You park in a parking lot that's half a mile away from the front door, and you walk in, and all of a sudden, it's just this giant open space. Looks almost like an airport. Why? Because the designer of the CJC is actually the same person that designed the airport. So you'll see airport seating in some of the hallways. But right when you walk in the automatic doors, you're also going to notice kind of the arrival departure TVs that you would see at an airport. And on those TVs is going to be the list of cases that are going to be heard that day. Now, these TVs are not just at the entrance door. In fact, not only are there TVs, there's little kiosks as well that you can type your name in to try to figure out where your courtroom for that particular day is. Now, when the CJC was first opened, the thought was some of the courts would be in different locations on different days. Turns out that doesn't work very well for courts that are constantly having hearings in the morning and the afternoon, having to move from one room to another room. So we've kind of settled on, certain courts are going to constantly be in the exact same room as long as it's just their normal docket. So if it's a pretrial conference, status conference, or anything in between that generally isn't a jury trial, it's always going to be held in the same room. And the great thing about the CJC, once you walk through security, there's a giant long desk, and the ladies that work at that desk are fantastic. They'll be able to direct you if you don't see your name on the board or anything like that. They'll be able to direct you where to go. But if you're charged with a crime, you're basically going to be on either anywhere from the 4th floor to the 9th floor. So one of those floors is likely where you're going to be. Now, more serious charges or more serious crimes, major felonies are generally on the 4th, 5th, and 6th floor. Misdemeanors 6, 7, 8, all the way up to the 9th. So in reality, you kind of have a general idea based on what you're charged with, where you're going to be. There are, of course, a few exceptions. And then if you have a jury trial, there's specific jury trial courtrooms. So it can definitely be a little bit overwhelming if you were going for, pretrial conferences on the 4th floor, room 21, and then all of a sudden you have a jury trial on the 9th floor, room 3. The great news is because it's built similar to the airport, there's a plethora of ways in which you can figure out where your particular room is, and you can always go to the ladies up front for help. Now, some of the tricks to navigating the CJC in Indianapolis, pretty self-apparent. Number one, get there early. Getting to court early seems like something that would be pretty obvious, right? You don't have to try to get there. We understand as attorneys, accidents happen, you oversleep, something happens, traffic that causes you to run a little bit later than you anticipated. But by getting to court early, you're able to, number one, not have the stress of running in, trying to figure out where things are going, getting there and getting there late. Number two, you get a chance to talk with your attorney. If there's any questions that have been lingering since the last time you've spoke, hopefully not very long ago, but if there are questions, it's a great time for face-to-face interaction. And number three, you get to court early, it shows the judge, it shows the court staff that you take this case seriously. The last thing you want is to show up late or just barely on time, disheveled, breathing heavily in front of a judge who's basically going to be overseeing the entire case. So the CJC, while looks overwhelming, is actually streamlined to try to help get you to where you need to be with relative ease. If you got any questions, you find yourself in a situation where you're charged with a crime, give us a call. We're in Indianapolis all the time. 317-632-3642. Remember, always plead the fifth.